Okay. For my followers who follow Algorand, we're already well familiar with governance and how it works and how it's changed, because a lot of stuff has changed with Algorand governance over the years. But Chainlink also talking about on-chain governance, and well, we've got Chainlink's CEO founder talking, Sergey, talking about governance on Chainlink, and I think this segment is worth taking a look at. So why don't we dive in here? I'm going to put my headphones on again. You can still hear me? I hope so. Let's let's see what Sergey has to say about on-chain governance.
I would say that the nuance with voting and blockchains in the US political system is actually much more around identity than it is around using blockchains. I think the interesting nuance in the US is that identity and a federally issued identity is a very sensitive topic. It's a very politically charged topic for both parties. And so before you even process voter rolls, or before you confirm that a voter hasn't switched states and isn't voting twice, so they're not double spending their vote, and before you have ways to guarantee proper node distribution to make sure that voting rolls aren't manipulated, and that external state actors can't get in and manipulate them, before you get into all those interesting questions, your first question is how are we going to create an identity layer for someone to prove their identity as a registered real voter? And this is a political topic that is very sensitive, that I think it's not a technology issue. It's a political issue about whether Democrats and Republicans, who both have their own fears about creating identity, even if it was a narrowly focused form of identity on voting, that issue will have to be resolved before you have this back-end technology, blockchains and Oracle networks working together to create a voting system.
With something like that, how far away are we?
That's a really interesting point, by the way, because yeah, it's a lot more difficult to do like real voting on chain than just like simple governance voting. Because governance, like, you just care if I have this wallet, I connect to my wallet, the wallet votes, the wallet can't vote again. But how would you? But that doesn't have to be tied to a real person. So if this were to be handled on chain, there's a lot of considerations involved. And the first step, like he's saying, is ID. How do you verify that this is actually this person? Which means like the government has to kind of issue it. And that's something that I think a lot of us would find really concerning. Like, how do you do that in a way that doesn't give the government like way too much power? A very good point. I think he's the more I see from Sergey, the more I think he's a really smart guy. I think he's got some great ideas, and he really thinks about this stuff on a deep level. I've been saying for years, like, oh, why don't they just put it on chain? But he brings up a lot of points where there's a lot to consider about, especially just voter ID, which tends to lead to a government ID. But let's finish this interview here.
Is the technology already there and it's a matter of the willpower, or is it something that would take some time to develop to make it, ready for use in such a sensitive, significant application?
It's 100% willpower. 100%. Technology is ready to go. Oracle network's ready to go. Some cases, even identity systems, everything's ready to go. It's just a question of how the U.S. government wants to approach the topic of identity. They want to approach the topic of identity for financial transactions in very specific ways. How they want to approach the topic of identity for voting is a very unresolved issue. And that's not an issue that a technology platform or standard or open source way of doing something like identity can resolve. So we can absolutely provide the technology that would enable, highly secure systems using blockchains and Oracle networks to do things like log verification, and other key, cybersecurity activities. We can absolutely enable the proper use of data and compliance on chain. And, voting is really just another type of on-chain data that would have to be synchronized across chains.
So that's a really interesting point that he's making. But yeah, I think this stuff is really good to think about, because we think this stuff is super important, and it is. And I think this is a really great use case for crypto, but there's so many considerations that have to go into it. And we're still getting like basic regulatory requirements put in place, which should have been in place a long time ago. But finally, the current administration is at least working on that. Now, Green Blue Algo says Chess Tower ID work. Now that, I think Algorand might have a good argument for doing that. So Algorand helped create the universal ID for World Chess that allows you it's basically a passport. So you have all your chess stats and one idea that you can take for different places. That's a good analogy where, something like a Chainlink or Algorand could do that. Joe Bro says poly market Chainlink connection. Yeah, I think we covered that on our last stream and segment that we pulled out. But yeah, that's really awesome. I got some other Chainlink stuff I want to go through. I can take the headphones off now and sound like a normal person again. Well, first off, let's do our Chainlink reserve update. Currently at 323,114 link. That's 43,067 link added this week. They've been adding it about once a week, and we can look at the reserve here. And you can just see how much it's 7.6 million now. And it just keeps going up. It's nice to see. I wish I could change this to dollars. I kind of want to see how much the dollars have gone up over time, but I think this is one of the best ideas. Honestly, I think this is a great idea. I'd love to see Algorand do something like this. They're kind of in the other way. They're kind of going the other way. They're spending algo. I'd like to see them bring algo in and on chain. But the reason they're doing this, for people who don't know, haven't seen our coverage before, the reason Chainlink does this is they're taking off-chain profits. Oops, I just realized. Sorry about that. They're taking off-chain profits and putting them on chain. So they have off-chain services, and what they do is they take those off-chain services and they bring them on chain, which is really cool. Let's go back here. So I just want to give a quick update of the Chainlink reserve. This one's kind of neat here. Advent protocol of 140 million plus TVL DeFi platform offering yield generating strategies. I always like those yield generating strategies. Has integrated Chainlink CCIP to enable highly secure cross-chain transfers of AVE ETH X and Save ETH across Avalanche and Ethereum. Advent has also integrated Chainlink data feeds to support highly accurate, secure, and transparent collateral pricing. So, nice little bridge there between Chainlink and Avant. I don't know much about Avalanche. I haven't used it much. I hear good things, so that's cool. But I don't know a ton about it. Let's see, we got a couple other things. Stablecoins scale with Chainlink, and this is worth pulling out here. Gateway to global stablecoin scalability, a single secure platform to stablecoin issuers. 260 billion total value of tokenized assets on public ledgers. 90% of this value is made up of fiat-backed stable coins. They are, according to this, a superior form of the underlying fiat currency represented on chain. CCIP, which is Chainlink, unifies liquidity between blockchains so that stablecoins can move seamlessly across chains. This is where CCIP comes in. They can maintain a unified golden record across chains, a single data container that provides the stablecoin's ownership and key data, all of which is easily verifiable, accessible, and able to be programmed upon by all participants, no matter what the chain, no matter which chain the stablecoin is transferred to. Stablecoin issuers can make their stablecoins programmable, liquid, and transparent through Chainlink. Chainlink is great, and Algorand is not on Chainlink, but Folks Finance is, and that is a connection to Chainlink. But I really like to see them get connected with CCIP. And then we have this adoption update that we can get to. This week, there were 8 integrations of Chainlink standard across 4 services and 6 different chains: Aptos, Base, BitLayer, Ethereum, and Sei. The new integrations are iCroStrategy, Aptos, BitLayer Labs, Polymarket. There you go, Joe Bro. You got it right there. We did talk about it last week, I believe. Sei Network and Stake.link. Stake.link. 1 new automation, 4 new CCIP, 2 new data streams, and 1 new price theme. Someone says, when Algorand? I'm kind of wondering that myself. I really want to see Algorand. I'm a big fan of Algorand. It's like a lot of my content. And I really wish Algorand would get integrated with them. I think it's inevitable at this point. And this last one, actually we got 2 of them. We'll take Chainlink's actual thing here. Saudi Awal Bank, one of Saudi Arabia's largest banks with over 100 billion in total assets, is leveraging several Chainlink services to facilitate the deployment of the next generation on-chain applications in Saudi Arabia. Under the innovation agreement, SAB is accelerating the adoption of on-chain finance across the region by enabling developers to build with Chainlink's cross-chain interoperability protocol and the Chainlink runtime environment. So that's a huge bank in Saudi Arabia. Those guys got a lot of money, got all that oil money. And I don't know if you know, but the reason why Decipher in 2022 was in Dubai, that's the Algorand conference, is because a lot of the just a lot of these oil-rich companies or countries. Wow, I'm really doing well today, aren't I? A lot of these oil-rich companies are, they know that they're not going to be able to rely on oil forever. It's going to run out at some point. So a lot of them are looking to new industries, and crypto is a big part of it. A lot of these guys are really looking at crypto stuff. So this does not surprise me one bit, not even a little bit, because they know it's coming. I love these awkward photo handshake, these super awkward press photos. It's so funny. Green Blue Algo says maybe we could crowdfund Algo Chainlink integration. Yeah, well, we kind of are anyway, right? Because Algorand would probably spend treasury money to get integrated. That's why I want Algorand to make more revenue, so they can take some of that revenue and put it to grow the chain. Right now, it's kind of going the other way. So that is, I believe, all our Chainlink news.